I was like halfway into a video and my phone overheated in the sun. No doubt, I'm overheating in the sun. Anyhow, what I was discussing was I find it fascinating and frustrating that people believe geology, biology, all of it, yet they know the medical field's totally corrupt. They know all our fields are totally corrupt. They know that all the universities are totally corrupt. But then they think that these other graduates are getting good education for their money. Now, that being said, of course, a geologist coming out of university is going to know all the periodic table and what all those elements are and how they work and a whole bunch of stuff about them and know all the different rocks and minerals and all that kind of stuff. So, a lot of real education in there in all the fields. But of course, there's a bunch of bullshit hidden in there. And these people learning those fields are learning so much that they don't have time to go double check to see if the math's fucking right on the gravitational formula. They just got to assume that, yes, okay, that formula is correct. Now I need to work with this formula in order to graduate school and to fucking stay in the field and get a job and blah, 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 blah. There's all this shit, all this, everything's holding, I got to hold all this up. They don't have time to go and say, okay, well, where did gravity come from and where'd the formula, where'd you get what test did you do? How'd you demonstrate it? Fucking anything like that. They don't have time for that. Not while they're getting their dissertation. And then by the time they do start figuring that stuff out, a lot of them stay in denial, of course. That's a natural thing for people to do, like a natural defense. When a wife finds out that the husband's cheating, a lot of times like she'll defend him tooth and nail or whatever, or not find out, but like she'll live in denial of it, even though everybody knows, including her. But she'd never admit it, or the bad kids in prison kind of thing. And not my boy, he's a good boy. No, he's not. He raped and murdered and did this and that and the other or whatever. And but these moms are like, well, no, that was he was misunderstood, or he was this or that. You know what I mean? It wasn't his fault. Big old pimple, dirty bugger. Anyhow, so the denial thing is just an easy human response, natural, easy human response. It's easier to fool somebody than to convince them that they were fooled. And so it's hard to get these guys to wake up. Now, like JP, he wasn't even Christian that long ago. He was a leftist a little while ago, where he was doing videos, and he was pro-abortion and pro all the things, very pro-gay, and you know what I mean. He would have been making fun of people like me more than being supporting people like me. So he's had this awakening, and we've gotten to watch it. You can go back and watch the videos and watch him change, right? But it's getting to the point now where it's like, okay, you've looked into this shit, you know better, or you should. We're holding you to a higher standard, especially where you got this following and you truth seeker, freedom fighter, whatever, promoting yourself as that. You got to wake the rest of the way. Can't talk about being a Christian and then deny entire books out of the Bible. It's either all or nothing, shit or get off the fence. God hates people on the fence. He tells us not to hate, but he hates things. And that's one of the things he hates. So if you're like, oh, well, the Bible needs these corrections because man, science, it's not good. It's too bad this video will never get to JP himself. But if you're watching his videos or anybody like him, know that something's still blocking them. Who knows what it is? Could be ego. Like I said, it's people don't want to admit that they were fooled. So anyhow, I feel like a lot of times you feel like putting in "you fucking moron" at the end of when you explain it to people, because it's like, this is the principles of a vacuum. Here's all the science behind gravity. Here's the science behind geology. Here's the science behind millions of years. Here's the science behind fucking all these limiting factors of the age of the universe. Here's the science behind the whole universe can't fucking be the way that we're told that it is. It has to be fucking contained within us. And here's actual footage of the stars as opposed to what you think they are. And here's all this other stuff. Evidence like crazy. You can't just keep denying it and denying it and denying it. I don't know. So, if you're watching those shows, just know that these guys, they still mean well. They're fighting the best fight that they can. Don't try to get them to lead you to God. Same as, like, we admit that all these, like, the science is corrupt and this and that. All the universities are corrupt. And everybody admits that. And that they're indoctrinating kids and turning them into these fucking leftists and shit and communists and fascists and like flipping their brains right around so they don't really understand what it is that they're being. And but then you think that these other kids are getting these good solid educations from the same fucking university. Well, what the fuck? Why would you think that? Anyhow, people only know what they're taught as well. So these university kids, like I don't know if it was the video that just got cut off or if this one. They get a lot on their plate all the way through school and then graduating and then getting into careers and blah 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 blah. They can't question everything their teachers teach them all the way along. They have to learn it all. We can question it though, because we can learn it on our own time and then look for the true evidence behind. Like when they say, oh, gravity, here's look, we even have a mathematical formula. Density and mass, blah, 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 gravity, all this shit. But then your formula doesn't work when you're in a vacuum chamber? None of it applies anymore? And there's contradictions like that constantly. People say, oh, the Bible full of contradictions, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. And if you think it is, question me. I'll explain to you how your misunderstanding that it's not a contradiction. Like I was saying, where God says, don't hate, he hates things. He doesn't want us to hate them. You know, we can dislike things, we can avoid things, people, places, whatever. Just don't hate. Don't put energy into hate. But he hates things. He hates people who screw with kids' minds. He hates people who are on the fence, you know, and say things like, well, the Bible's a good book, but blah 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 whatever, or I'm a good Christian except space and science and whatever. You know, no, you're not a good Christian then. You don't believe the book. And then you go to church and you learn from a preacher who learned from a university that's corrupted to teach you a corrupt version of the Bible, or a messed up version of it, at least half-assed, so that you think you're a good Christian when you're not. And you know, even your pastor is denying entire books, Genesis, things like this. And then scriptures over and over again, not just about the cosmology and the earth shape and things like this, but like the false Jews and the age of the earth and just the whole timeline, all kinds of stuff. You either believe the Bible or you don't. It's either a science and a history book that's also a scriptural book that was inspired by God, or it wasn't, or it's not. Don't be in the middle and be like, oh, well, these parts I like and these parts I don't. I'll pick this and I'll take these and you can keep those. It's not Christianity. To the point that even like Jacob and them, in order to actually be good Hebrews and Christians, he went and lived with, like Jacob, he went and lived with Shem for, I think it was 25 or 30 years, and studied the Torah in the woods, like, you know, in a monk place. Just spent his whole life just studying the Torah. And his parents sent for him and were like, you got to go get married, have kids, do this and that, and shipped him off. But 20 years, 25 years, and he still wasn't a perfect Christian. He was really good though. You know, like he's somebody that you could aspire to. Him and David, uh, Abraham, like they were the biggies. You know, his sons were all biggies too, or a bunch of his sons, but like he sinned far less than any of them or any of us. You know, and but he did sin. Um, just the same, right? Like he lied to his brother and stuff. Um, tricked his dad, did all kinds of underhanded things. Only people. He repented. That's the big thing. Anyhow, so to be a good Christian, you gotta aspire to know these books through and through. You can't just know little bits and pieces of them or just one book. You can't just know the Bible. I say it all the time. The Bible's a stepping stone. It's your foundation to get you saved and get you going. Then you got to go above and beyond and get a real relationship with God and read a bunch more books and study a bunch more stuff and scriptures and Hebrew and history and show yourself approval. God tells us to do that. Anyways, my video this morning got cut off at the end with a stupid phone, so I'm gonna say God bless. Have a great day. Hope to see you again soon. Hope you learned something. Leave a comment if you didn't, or if you did. I'd love to hear from you. God bless you. Have a great one.